America is changing fast, and new laws in 2025 could impact everything. From your job and housing to privacy and personal rights, some of these laws are being celebrated while others are sparking major controversy. Welcome to Tenor, and today we're breaking down 10 of the most important new laws and then diving into the biggest pros and cons. Number 10. Utah bans collective bargaining for public workers. In a move that's stirring up nationwide debate, Utah has passed a law that bans public sector unions from negotiating salaries, benefits, and working conditions. This affects teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other government employees. State officials claim that this will prevent taxpayer dollars from being used to fund public activism by unions. However, opponents argue that this weakens workers' ability to negotiate fair pay and protections. Number 9. Missouri strikes down abortion licensing rule. A Missouri judge has struck down a regulation that required abortion clinics to meet the same strict licensing requirement as surgical centers, a rule that made it nearly impossible for many providers to operate. This decision comes after a 2024 ballot measure that added abortion rights to the Missouri state constitution, making it harder for lawmakers to pass restrictions
that have been put in place earlier. So basically the state has denied the Planned Parenthood license moving forward, but because of the injunction that's been put in place, the court is basically saying everything is status quo until the next decision. So
pro-choice advocates see this as a victory, while pro-life groups believe that it weakens state oversight of medical procedures. Number 8. Connecticut pushes for more affordable housing. With a 100,000 unit housing shortage driving up rent prices, Connecticut lawmakers are pushing forward with a bill that would require all cities and towns to create more affordable housing options. The law would prevent wealthier suburbs from using strict zoning laws to block new apartment buildings. Supporters say that this is necessary to address rising homelessness and housing costs, but local officials argue that it removes their ability to control community development. Number 7. Illinois expands protections for immigrants. Illinois has passed a law that prohibits local police departments from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement agencies, including ICE. This means that local law enforcement can no longer detain individuals based solely on their immigration status, or provide federal agencies with information about undocumented residents. Supporters argued that this will make immigration communities feel safer, but opponents claim that it limits law enforcement's ability to deal with criminal activity. Number 6. New privacy laws limit data collection. In response to growing concerns about online privacy, several states, including California, Texas, and Florida, are rolling out strict new data protection laws. These laws limit how much personal information companies can collect and require them to be more transparent about data usage. Businesses will need to ask for explicit information before tracking user activity, and individuals will have the right to request their data to be deleted. Number 5. AI content must be labeled. As AI technology rapidly advances, California and New York have introduced new laws requiring all AI-generated content, including deepfake videos and AI-written news articles, to be clearly labeled. This law is designed to prevent misinformation, election interference, and online scams. However, critics worry how this will be enforced and whether it will limit creative uses of AI. Number 4. Stricter gun control laws in some states. States like Washington and Oregon are introducing stricter firearm regulations in 2025, including bans on high-capacity magazines, tougher background checks, and restrictions on rapid-fire modifications like bump stocks. These laws are included to curb mass shootings and violent crimes, but gun right activists argue that they infringe on the Second Amendment. Number 3. Marijuana legalization expands to more states. In a huge shift, Texas and Pennsylvania have officially legalized recreational marijuana in 2025, bringing the total number of legal states to 26. This means that adults can now buy and use cannabis legally, and the states expect to generate billions in tax revenue. However, concerns remain about workplace safety, increased DUI incidents, and long-term health effects. Number 2. Universal free lunches in public schools. Several states, including Massachusetts and Colorado, have passed laws making school lunches free for all students, regardless of income. The goal is to reduce childhood hunger and eliminate the stigma around free meals. While many families welcome the change, some critics argue that taxpayer money shouldn't be used to provide meals for students from wealthy families. And finally, at number 1, we have minimum wage increases in multiple states. In an effort to keep up with inflation, several states, including California, New York, and Washington, are raising their minimum wage to $18 an hour. This is one of the highest minimum wages in the country and is expected to boost earnings for millions of workers. However, small business owners worry that the higher labor costs could force them to raise prices or to cut jobs. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons of these developments. The pros: why some people support these laws. Workers' rights and wages. The minimum wage increase and universal free school lunches aim to reduce financial stress for working-class families. Privacy protection. Stricter data laws help prevent companies from exploiting personal information. Housing crisis solutions. Connecticut's push for affordable housing could help solve the severe shortage of homes. Public safety. Stricter gun laws in some states could help reduce mass shootings and violent crime. AI regulations. Labeling AI-generated content makes it harder for deepfakes to spread misinformation. And now, moving on to the cons. Why these laws are controversial. Government outreach. Some argue that states enforcing local governments to build affordable housing or increase wages takes away from economic freedom. Union power reduction. Utah's collective bargaining ban is seen as an attack on workers' rights. Privacy versus convenience. New data laws could make some apps and services less user-friendly. Gun control backlash. Some gun owners believe tighter regulations unfairly restrict their rights. Immigration law conflicts. Illinois' sanctuary law could lead to legal battles with the federal government. Marijuana concerns. Some worry about an increase in DUI incidents and the long-term health effects. There's no doubt, 2025 is shaping up to be a huge year for new laws, and depending on who you ask, these changes are either long overdue or way too extreme. What do you think? Which law do you support the most, and which do you think is the most controversial? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. See you next time on Tenor.